you look at the investment market, so there's different sectors. You'll have consumer discretionary spending, consumer staples. So they're things like the companies that produce cleaning products, household items, things that we always buy. Discretionary are the things that are maybe closed retailers. You have things like industrials, financials, which includes banks, real estate, in all varies along the different sectors. Now, things in healthcare and pharmaceuticals have done relatively well. They've held up better in the sell-off since the start of the year than other sectors. So if we look in America again, there's some good numbers you can see to see which sectors are doing well. Now, interestingly, it's not just because of the COVID-19 and oversimplifying it, just because it means that people we can make money out of potential cures. Some of this is down to the fact of the background, the macro background we're in, where we're seeing growth slowing, economic growth slowing, and inflation slowing. And if in those environments, the things that do well are consumer staples, so the things that people have to buy to live on, so food, that sort of stuff. Financials don't do very well because interest rates get cut. We've seen it, and that means that banks can't. It impacts their margins and their profitability. So again, and they're very exposed to the economic environment, so they're very cyclical, so banks don't do so well. So you'll see that in their share prices, and it doesn't help when the government and the Bank of England put pressure on you to not pay dividends. Industrials don't do very well. Factories in this instance have been closed. Energy stocks don't tend to do so well. This is all about being deflationary. All we've had is with the coronavirus, we've accelerated that. So we've got extreme versions of factories shutting, seen oil price plummet, which we saw this week in particular, because of less demand from industry, which therefore means energy stocks fall. We've just seen that really ramped up. So it's not down to coronavirus cures that why some of these sectors are doing well. It's actually because we've got an extreme version of a recession, almost veering into a depression scenario. Now, there is a company, if you want to see the pros and cons, really the dangers of just investing in companies that say they've got a coronavirus, not necessarily vaccine, but a treatment, then go and look at Gilead Services, Gilead Sciences, sorry, not services. Now they're a company, or Gilead are a company who said that there had been some evidence in hospitals in America that their use of one of their treatments had seemed to expedite the recovery of certain patients. So the idea being, this would be good news, because if we can help the most extreme people who have COVID-19 illness, we can speed up their recovery, cut it to days, and get them out of the hospitals. Then we reduce the death rate. This is good news. We don't have to worry so much about catching the coronavirus, etc., etc. And so the stock in that particular company rallied ridiculously. If I was just to look at it now, I think it rallied over. It rallied more than 12% in a space of a week. And then the news broke yesterday. China claimed that they had done some trials that showed there was no evidence that this drug in fact did any of the things that the hopeful people on Wall Street were talking about. And the World Health Organization accidentally published that on their website and pulled it down. And of course, you do that, someone's going to see it, and of course they did. And then the share price of that company fell 10% in a day. That was yesterday. So that shows you it's the hope and then the despair that you have with investing in companies like that. And that's a single stock. I know you could invest in a diversified fund, but it's very much veering into the world of speculation. So I wouldn't personally do it. I just think you're better off sticking to a process that you've had for a long time. You invest for the long term. Doing this sort of stuff is speculation. So I'm not sure it's something that people should be doing.